What's up, buddy? How you doing? I'll tell you how I'm doing. It's mixed. It's a mixed feeling today. I'm going to say one thing. I'm happy for some news that has come out, and we'll talk about that. But I'm also still angry. I'm angry at the way society has been acting, at the way that they tried to destroy who I would consider to be a great creator, and at the way that this cancel culture mob mentality is destroying people. It's destroying lives. And I'm really hoping that today is another victory against this kind of insane cancel culture mentality where people just want to see other people destroyed and they don't care about evidence, they don't care about the facts, and they don't care. They get off on it. As long as you're a good target, as long as you're one of the people, who is acceptable to go after, they'll take any opportunity to destroy you. And it's sick and it's disgusting. And I know it's annoying to talk about cancel culture all the time. But guys, if we don't talk about it, nothing's going to happen. We have to fix this. Let's talk about it. Subscribe down there. And we're going to recap this real quick. Now, Rick and Morty, I'm a big fan. And personally, I am a huge fan of Justin Roiland and Dan Harmon going back to when I was going back 20 years. I have been following these guys. The fact that they made it in Hollywood and they made shows happen. Okay, I talked all about this in my previous Rick and Justin Roiland video, which is on this channel. But basically, if you like the way comedy is today and you like some of this subversive comedy, these guys were in Hollywood pounding the pavement along with guys like The Lonely Island and Jack Black and whatever else. And they all worked together to make this thing called Channel 101. And it has completely influenced the trajectory of culture and comedy. Like, do you think The Lonely Island hasn't had an impact on comedy? Do you think Community and Rick and Morty have? These guys are essential to the world of comedy as you know it today. So when it came out, Justin Roiland facing domestic violence charges, my reaction as a sane and balanced individual was, well, that's unfortunate. That's very unfortunate. And I'm going to hope that he did not commit, an act of domestic violence. According to the felony complaint, the incident occurred January 19th, so it was a one-day supposed incident, one felony count of false imprisonment by menace, violence, fraud, or deceit. Again, no details. I said, even if this has happened, that tells me this is an individual who maybe needs some help, maybe has some mental health problems, maybe has some anger issues. But let's assume one bad day, January 19th, he got angry, he hit his girlfriend, maybe didn't let her leave the house. That's the worst that could have happened. I said, the best that could have happened, maybe this didn't go down the way it did at all. People lie. People go, oh, Justin locked me in a box and he hit me with a stick or whatever the hell. Okay, it's a court trial. We wait for it to go to court. We wait for lawyers to get involved, and we wait for the law to sort it out, and we don't go, I know based on one allegation from one woman that this is a man who needs to be destroyed for the rest of his life. I said, why don't we wait? Why don't we wait and find out? And they said, no, we can't wait. We can't wait. So what did they do? They canceled, they removed him from Rick and Morty, so he's not allowed to do the voices on that show anymore. They removed him from his own game company. He stepped down, of his own accord, but obviously it was, public pressure that forced him to do so. Everyone on the internet going, this man is a monster. He needs to be destroyed. He should not be allowed to work on any projects ever again. There's all sorts of hit pieces that were published about him, how he's lazy, how he didn't do any of the work on Rick and Morty, how everybody else was the talented person. He would yell at animators. Nonsense. Okay? Everybody wants their pound of flesh. They see a man who is, at his lowest point, a man who has had great success. Okay? Again, this is our guy. I keep trying to convince people. I'm like, you don't understand. This is a guy. Hollywood doesn't want to make stuff like Rick and Morty. They want to make cookie-cutter, stupid comedies that do not joke about anything edgy at all. Okay? Even if you don't like Rick and Morty, you should like the fact that it exists and allows a subversive, edgy comedy to exist in this space so that if you want to make those own jokes, they won't immediately be sanitized and removed from the airwaves. This is a guy we should get behind. That's what I said. I said, let's hope nothing happened. Let's hope it's not serious. And ultimately, this guy is, I think, a great creative that even if he had done something, I think there's a path to, redemption. I don't want to write him off entirely. I don't, no matter what happened. But at this point, it doesn't even matter because cleared of domestic violence charges. So this was a waste of everybody. This, I don't want to say a waste of everybody's time. I don't know the way to put it. But this was what I tried to tell you people. I had people telling me there's no way they would bring charges against him unless they were going to put him in jail forever. I'm like, you guys know how the court system works? People get dragged into court all the time. It happens. It's a he said, she said situation. Is there any evidence? Is there any video? No. And that's what the DA has said. Kimberly Ed, spokeswoman, for the Orange County District Attorney's Office, said in a statement, "We dismiss the charges today as a result of having insufficient evidence to prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt." You don't have evidence. It's a he said, she said. Now, maybe you find her story credible, and if she wants to go to the press and talk about the horrible night that Justin Roiland did, whatever, I don't know what the details are, but the truth is, we don't know. We don't know what happened, but clearly there is no evidence that this man did anything other than one woman's word. And again, it's going to differ. She's going to say he was the worst man in the world and he hit me 100 times. He's going to say, I was trying to get out of the room and I accidentally brushed past her and she fell over. Who knows? It's always this crazy he said, she said situation. You can never trust either side, to be fair, but you have to err on the side of innocence. You have to err on the side of saying, well, it's possible he did something, but I'm not going to destroy the man unless I have firm evidence of what happened. I'm not going to go on social media and say this man is a monster and a wife beater and whatever else. You don't know. And neither does the DA, and that's why they dropped the charges. Roiland has come out and had a statement. Good for him. Actually, real quick, I want to get his attorney's statement. His attorney, back in January when this story broke, he gave this statement. He said, "It's hard to overstate how inaccurate the most recent media coverage of the situation has been. Not only is Justin innocent, but we have every expectation that this matter is on course to be dismissed once the district attorney's office has completed its methodical review of the evidence. We look forward to clearing Justin's name." See, this was no one listened to this. No one listened to, everybody thought they understood the court system in and out. They go, well, they would never charge him unless they knew he was a horrible spousal abuser. No, the district attorney's office has to methodically review the evidence. Okay? He was accused of doing something wrong. There's whatever limited evidence they have. I don't know what they had, but the DA has to look at it. And the DA looked at it. He looked at the evidence that was available and he said, I don't have enough here to prosecute. I have one woman saying he did something. Again, we don't have the details. We don't know exactly what they saw. But let's also be very clear. This was a high-profile case with a ton of news coverage. If there was even a thin sliver of a chance that they could prosecute him, they would have done so. They don't want these high-profile cases to get swept under the rug. They want to bring, celebrity abusers into the courtroom. People want to see those kind of people face justice. The fact that he did not bring charges tells me there's probably nothing here other than the word of one woman. And I don't know what happened. I wasn't there. That is a private matter between her and Justin. If she wants to come out with her take, we can examine it and we can see what she says. But again, there's not enough evidence to prosecute, which tells me there's not really anything here. So Justin Roiland, just post. One word, justice. Very poetic. I say just one word, and then, of course, he has a whole statement. But let's read it. "I've always known these claims were false, and I have never had any doubt that this day would come. I'm thankful this case has been dismissed, but at the same time, I'm deeply shaken by the horrible lies that were reported about me during this process. Most of all, I'm disappointed that so many people were quick to judge without knowing the facts, based solely on the word of an embittered ex trying to bypass due process and have me canceled." We'll talk about that. "That it may have succeeded even partially is shameful. However, now that the legal case has ended, I'm determined to move forward and focus both on my creative projects and to restoring my good name." That's what's important here. This cancel culture has given far too much power to potential bad actors because we no longer ask for an evidentiary standard. We no longer say, oh, that guy's a bad guy, that guy's a racist or a Nazi or an abuser or whatever else. We no longer say, well, give me the evidence so I can, make up my mind for myself. Instead, we've been told, hashtag believe women, me too. This has happened to me. Don't question it at all. Now, people have accused me of throwing Me Too under the bus and stuff like that. No, I think those movements, I get it. And they were very good-natured at the start. The idea, yes, you should believe women. Hashtag believe women. But what that means is be willing to not immediately dismiss women. You know, when a woman told you I was abused, you go, well, I'm willing to entertain that idea. Yeah, I'll hear you out. I'll see what evidence you have. I'm not going to say, oh, you're a woman, you're crazy. I'm gonna hear it out. That's what Believe Women is supposed to mean. But instead of hashtag Believe Woman became, well, women have never lied in the history of the earth. If a woman says that Justin Roiland abused her, it absolutely happened 100%, and we have to believe her and cancel the evil Justin Roiland. Well, that's silly, and we know that's silly. Everyone lies, all people. I can't even, again, say this woman is a lie. It's very possible that something happened the night of January 19th. I don't know. But without evidence, all I can say is, well, I'm sympathetic if you believe this thing happened to you, but I'm also not going to destroy a man's career based on your word alone. I won't do it. And you shouldn't do it. But let's be clear, these mobs, they're gleeful in canceling people. It's not about justice. This is real justice, what has been done to Justin Justice, but they think their justice is to they just want someone to bully. They just want a target. That's all these social media people want. And I'll give you an example. I was one of the few people, I'm going to say, who immediately came out and said, guys, it's a court case. We can wait for evidence. We don't even know the story of what happened. All we have is the idea that there was domestic abuse and false imprisonment. That's it. We don't know. We don't even know the tale of what happened. And everyone is out here saying we have to destroy Justin Roiland. And I said, well, this is basically what I would consider cancel culture. It's a mob whipped up into a frenzy. They have an easy target for the day or the week or the month, and they're going to pile on and attack this guy. And it doesn't matter whether what he did is real or imagined. It's going to get blown out of proportion. People are going to start making up new things they think he did. And I said, it's funny how everyone pretends to hate cancel culture, but when it happens to a guy whose cartoon they don't like, it's okay for some reason. Again, I think part of the reason, and I saw a lot of these guys who tell me, oh, I hate cancel culture, I would never participate in cancel culture, going at Justin Roiland. And I think part of the problem is he's a nerdy white guy, a little, dorky looking. He makes this cartoon that a lot of people don't like. And again, he's considered a good target. Well, it's okay to rip on Justin Roiland. That guy looks like a piece of shit. If it, I don't want to get too deep into it, but if it was a different sort of person, if it was a more, I don't know, Chad type individual, you'd see a lot more people willing to defend him. But because Justin Roiland's kind of a nerdy, dorky guy, oh, it's okay to beat up on, dorky white guys. We hate those guys. I put out this simple tweet, and it got 950 quote tweets, which if you don't use Twitter is insane. I had thousands of people messaging me, commenting on this, calling me an idiot, calling me a moron. I mean, I had to hide the responses because at a certain point, it was just getting super ridiculous, the things that people were trying to say to me. Committing a crime is different. How do you not understand that? He was literally arrested and charged with domestic violence and kidnapping. Being charged with domestic battery is not getting canceled. And I was just getting bombarded by these people with this pure stupidity. I was getting comments and messages every day. I eventually, again, you're like, why did you limit the replies? Why did you hide replies? Because people would not stop commenting on this thing. I was getting millions of notifications. It was driving me nuts. And ultimately, they were detracting from the message I was trying to say, which I still think is an important message. I was trying to say that you need to wait for evidence. You need to be fair and balanced. But even if the guy's accused of murdering 1 million kids and all right, well, that would be that one I can understand being a lot more upset. But even then, you would hope there would be evidence of what happened. Okay? If he was accused of dismembering a woman and shoving her in a box, yes, it's horrible, and I can understand responding with outrage. But you also have to say, well, we need to make sure this actually happened. Is this a real thing, or is this ludicrous? And I guess I'm just happy that I'm vindicated on this one. I said, guys, this is just a cancel culture mob. I know we're all riled up, and everybody wants to rip on Justin Roiland and talk about how much they hate Rick and Morty, because now he's an easy target, because, again, he's at the lowest point in his life. But it's shameful, the people who tried to cancel this man, who are responsible for him losing. If society was at the point where we said, well, we're going to wait to see how this pans out, maybe he wouldn't have lost his job as the voice of Rick and Morty. Maybe he wouldn't have had to step down from his game company. But now, because culture demands blood so quickly, they go to these companies and they go, how could you possibly employ this man? He's a woman beater. He's a horrible, horrible individual. Because society demands their blood so quickly, these companies are forced to respond, and it's sick. We need to go back to a culture that respects due process, that is willing to wait for evidence to come out, and does not judge a man based on the word of one accuser. One accuser with no evidence. It's insane. I'm glad Justin is not going to be facing any further legal repercussions, and I do hope, as he says, that he's focused on his creative projects and restoring his good name. It is shameful what you people did to this guy. Not all of you, but those of you who piled on and thought it was all good fun to destroy his name and his career, well, shame on you. Frankly, I find that disgusting. But guys, as always, let me know in the comments what you think. Now that the court case is done, what happens from here? Does Justin get his career back? Does he deserve his career back? Do you still think that based on one accusation alone that a man should be destroyed and have his career ground into dust? I don't believe that way. And I think even if there's evidence out there that he has misbehaved in some way in the past, I have seen no evidence that Justin Roiland is a truly terrible individual who needs to have his life destroyed. Has he had some weird texts in the past? Has he said some things or made some jokes that were offensive? Sure. But again, I think everybody learns and grows and becomes a better person day by day. And I think Justin's one of those people as well. Guys, if you hate that cancel culture, subscribe to the channel so we can talk more about it in the future. Or maybe you're done with this topic. I know it's an endless topic, but my God, you think we would be done trying to cancel people by now. And don't forget, sign up for the mailing list at superkiller.org. Next month, the campaign will go live, and you will be able to purchase my exciting new comic book. I love you. Take care of yourself. Don't cancel people without evidence, guys. It just makes you look foolish.